Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another Fire Emblem Heroes video. So this one isn't going to be any gameplay. Instead, I thought, hey, I should do a discussion video on something that I've been kind of discussing recently. So with the release of the Spring Alphons, the Wodao Axe kind of released, which means now units other than sword units can have access to the Wodao ability. And, that got me and my main man, CJ, talking a little bit about, theory crafting and whatnot. Trying to, decide in what situations would you use Wodao and what situations would you use a sling weapon. And that kind of, led to an overall discussion on, specials. So I was like, hey, let's make a video about this one. So I got him right here. Say hi.
Hey.
Yeah, he hasn't been in any videos, my videos, yet, but I talk about him a lot because he kind of helps me theory craft a lot of my videos. I think I've been in one of his videos before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, hey, let's talk about specials.
More like I forced him to make me talk.
What's that?
I said it's more like I forced you to make me talk.
So, yeah, why don't you take it away, I guess? What's your thoughts on the specials right now? What are good specials?
I think Draconic Aura is almost entirely irrelevant, first of all. I just don't like it in general, but I think specials now more than ever are really important, because even with, some armor-killing weapons, armors are too fucking fat, and so you just need that extra push for almost anything. So getting a nice, good, meaty special off is yes, I think that's necessary in a lot of ways, whether it be a big thick Ignis or just a tiny little Glimmer. Just more damage is always nice, pretty much.
Right now I feel like, okay, first of all defensive specials and all AoE really irrelevant, so just pretend like they don't exist, because they pretty much don't. For the sake of conversation, I feel like there's three kind of groups of specials right now that people are using. There's the specials that you use to just increase your normal damage. It's stuff that you pretty much proc every time you go into combat. It's usually 2 cooldown skills, 3 cooldown skills. Then there's the big point horror skills, which is pretty much exclusively Aether.
Yeah.
Where it's not as effective, I would say, but it gives you a lot of points, and it's serviceable, I guess.
It's good
and
when
the
it
cooldown's
procs.
really long. It's good when it procs, yeah, but that kind of leads me to my third group, which is the nuke skills, which is Ignis, Glacius, which are high cooldown skills that you won't proc every round of combat, but when you do proc them, it's pretty much a almost guaranteed kill.
Yeah,
Aether is kind of a mix, because it has the damage of
it has the damage of 3
lower cooldown skills, but it has the cooldown of one of the higher skills. I mean, I think it is still good in, armors and stuff, because the heal is nice to increase your tankiness, but yeah, I feel those are the 3 sections of specials.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I would honestly argue right now that the best... Okay, first of all, the best one in general is Aether SP, but SP cost aside, I feel like if you're looking to get the most bang out of your buck for a special, I feel like the best ones right now are the ones that increase your... the 2 or 3 cooldown ones, the ones that increase your overall damage, rather than the bomb ones. Because it's you can't really... You can control who you're fighting up to a point, but the way that enemy formations work, I feel like you can't really control, yeah, I have my Ignis right now, so I'm gonna hit it with this guy. Sometimes you got a 3 health guy, and that really sucks, so it's nice to have a special that you can get pretty much every time you go into combat.
Unless, you're totally undercover, you actually made the game, you know how enemy AI works down to the exact numeral.
Well, I mean, people have figured out how AI works. It's just that it's like you got to remember a lot of stuff and got to put a lot of stuff into account. And I personally suck at AI manipulation. I try really hard, but it's just like there's other things you got to think about, and got to conserve that brain power, yo.
Thinking too OP. Please nerf.
But that kind of leads me to the kind of conversation about Wodao versus sling weapons, because we were talking about, like, since I'm building a spring video coming soon, I've kind of like been theory crafting with CJ. I'm like, hey, so slaying axe or Wodao axe? I don't remember.
Giant
axe,
spoon plus
axe. Whatever. Wodao axe.
Spoon is a better name overall.
So we're sitting here theory crafting, and we're like, which one's better for what? So you were the one I think that made the statement. So you go ahead, since I'm hogging talk time.
Okay, so the way I see slaying weapons versus Wodao in general. Oh shit, my laptop. But okay, that aside, the way I see slaying versus Wodao is Wodao pretty much increases the power of whatever numeral special you're using by 1. So like Moonbow can become Luna, and like Bonfire and Iceberg to a degree can become Ignis or Glacies. And like Ignis and Glacies will just fucking destroy whatever you proc it on.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Slaying
weapons.
I was like, am I going now, or?
Yeah, in slaying weapons, they pretty much just let you proc. Oh my god! It turns a 4-turn cooldown into a 3-turn cooldown, a 3-turn cooldown into a 2-turn cooldown, and like a 2-turn cooldown. You're pretty much guaranteed to proc it every round. It's pretty much the obvious what the weapon does.
They pretty much have reverse effects, but they get the same thing done. It'll be like, either way, you're going to have a 2-turn cooldown skill that deals the amount of damage of a 3-turn cooldown skill. Whether it's like a 2-turn cooldown Bonfire or a Moonbow with the Wodao effect on it. They're going to have similar damage numbers because of the way that the weapons work. So it's kind of, when you're deciding which weapon to go with, you kind of have to examine all the aspects, because they will deal pretty similar numbers. So for example, if your unit has like a lot of defense or they have a lot of res, then you probably are going to have a better time going slaying weapon and Bonfire or Iceberg. And then the other way around, if you don't have high defense or res, arguably Luna's a thing, but I'm not exactly sure of the vibe of Luna when you have like Moonbow and stuff with but yeah, if you have a high defense or res, then maybe you should consider Glimmer Wodao instead. So yeah. And then people will say like Ignis or Glacius Wodao, and that's pretty much just an instant kill thing, but I feel like the same argument goes... I don't like it. It goes against that would go against normal Ignis or Glacius,
Yeah. I mean, I could see like... I brought this up once. Like, some defensive units, like Selena, like, they're faster than average, but they have good bulk at the same time. They can probably get away with running, like, Steady Breath, Quick Riposte, and a Wodao Ignis, because they can proc that in one round without getting doubled. So you can just blow them up immediately.
Yeah, using... That makes sense. I guess I've never really thought of using a Wodao weapon as a defensive weapon, but I guess it could make sense, because you see people using slaying weapons on their armors all the time. And since Wo Dao and Slang Weapon pretty much do the same thing, just with different specials, yeah, I could see that making sense. And then there's also the argument of Ira, because everybody knows Ira's OP. And yeah, well, what'd you say about what you thought made Ira OP? I remember seeing that. That was funny.
It was like when Ira was released, when we got the data mines and everyone was flipping their shit, even I was on the hype train. I was like, oh man, Ira is so OP. And then after like a month or two of having her in the game and having experienced her and all, I'm like, okay, Ira's not so OP. I think Ira's blade is OP. And then we get to the Winter's Envoy meta shift and all that, and it's all defensive units all the time. And then I see Ira still somehow one-hit KOing blue units. And I'm like, okay, I think at this point, I'm just going to accept the fact that Ira's not special, Regnal Astra is the bread and butter here.
Yeah, I think that Regnal Astra is actually just the best special in the game. I'm willing to say that. Because it has aspect, like, remember the 3 different types of specials I said, where it's like specials that increase your like consistent damage output, the nuke specials, and the SP horse specials. Ira, the freaking Regnal Astra is all 3 of those. Like it has the damage of a 3 cooldown skill as a 2 cooldown skill, so that's already insane. It has the SP cost of Aether, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it gives you the SP of Aether without having to sacrifice the high damage. And then if you give her Wo Dao, which that is the build that most people in the high tier use nowadays, it gives her the damage output of a 4 cooldown skill on a 2 cooldown skill, which is insane.
Yeah, like the two sacred seals I fear most are pretty much just unit based. Like I fear a Vantage Sacred Seal because then double Wrath fucking Valentine's Hector will be dumb because you pretty much need to 1 round KO him, or he will just bonfire your ass with 40 damage at base. And now Ira,
sexy.
And Ira makes me fear a Desperation Seal because just think about a Wrath Wo Dao Desperation Ira on you with fucking plus 20 damage to Regnal's, I think, 16 damage minimum or something like that.
Yeah, that's like enough damage from just the special proc to kill a relatively tanky unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, so I think that's what makes Ira so busted, and you see that in other specials too. Like you see Black Luna. I'd argue that Black Luna is arguably a 4 cooldown special in terms of damage. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because since the special itself is based on the enemy rather than yourself, in a lot of situations it ends up being comparable to Ignis, since the modifier is really huge, but so is Ignis. Ignis is like slightly better, but Luna just gets the job done anyway, and it's 500 SP, so what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's the SP cost is kind of worth it. So you see all these, like, is there any unit that has like a legendary damage special that isn't top tier?
Like, I don't think so. Oh wait, I was about to. Would Ice Mirror count since it can do damage?
No, I'm not gonna count that because then my point doesn't stand.
But yeah, like real, like big boy specials, yes.
Yeah, so every like damaging legendary special, not freaking Fjorms, because it doesn't even proc on her phase, does it? Like if she initiates the attack,
no, it'll proc
her?
on player phase. Oh wait, is it? No, it can't because it's specifically 2 ranged attacks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much in the same. That's the reason that stuff like other defensive specials are First of all, they don't deal damage, and damage is key. But you can't proc them when you're attacking. I mean, you can't. when you're getting countered, they'll proc, but like
No,
that's kind of boom boom.
only Pavis will proc, because I just remembered ranged units can't actually get shit like Sacred Cow.
Yeah, that's pretty buns. And then it's the same logic with the AoE specials. You could have an AoE special on one cooldown, and then the enemy will initiate combat with you, and then you'll just be sitting there with it charged because it doesn't proc unless you're initiating the combat.
In my opinion, as far as Arena goes, if you're not using an AoE as a placeholder for Aether since it costs 300 SP, you will only ever make an AoE special work if it's an infantry unit and you are running like three other infantry pulse units with the AoE unit having quicken pulse. So that way you can't be baited out very easily.
Yeah, I've seen that with like a Celica before, and she almost killed my team if I wasn't paying. Because I wasn't paying too much attention. If my team wasn't absolutely busted, because I use dragons, she probably would have gotten me. So, yeah, it's good for like cheesy stuff, but in general, you're not gonna run. It's the same as Gale Force. Like Gale Force is good on a couple units, but when you're looking at consistency across like all your units, like trying to scale stuff, it's not really something you consider.
Well, like Gale Force, I think Gale Force is a little differently just because the way it operates. I think the only way Gale Force works is if you know it's gonna work. I only use it on Alencia because she just does so much damage, and she can proc it in multiple different ways, whether it be like Desperation or just Heavy Blade shit. Like, Alencia has the stats to just make it work. Gale Force is not something you can just slap on any unit.
Yeah, and even then, I feel like it's not really a PvP special as much as it is a PvE special.
Yeah.
Because it's better for maps that have more enemies, because then you're getting more use out of it. Like, when you're going in Arena, you're only going against 4 enemies. And, like, sure, sometimes Gale Force will proc, like that one video I have where I killed the entire enemy team in one turn with Roy. But usually it's gonna proc, and then you're probably not even gonna be able to use it to kill the other enemy, because then you'd just be in a bad position. You're probably gonna use it to run away, if anything.
Yeah, and then if it's like on your defense team, your Gale Force unit is probably just gonna proc it, and then they're gonna proc it on a unit that they can't do any damage to. Then they're gonna proc Gale Force and use their turn again. They're just gonna do 0 damage again. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still use it on my Brave Roy for PvE, and it's very useful. I'll probably be uploading a video, if it's not already uploaded, pretty soon of me using Gale Force on Brave Roy pretty effectively in the Grima map, the recently released one. And I think that it does have some pretty good synergy with Quick and Pulse too, since it is PvE. You don't care about SP cost. Because Quick and Pulse in Gale Force lets you proc Gale Force, even on a unit that has 2 range that won't counter you.
I really like Quick and Pulse for PvE because, like, just any manipulation towards charge is manipulation for the rest of the map, or series of maps if it's like Tempest or Chain Challenge. So you can set it up to just win if you put that much thought into it.
Yeah, but just a PSA, since Quick and Pulse can't be upgraded, it has the same SP cost as essentially a level 1 skill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably not that good for PvP just because of SP cost. But yeah, do you have anything else to add?
About specials, I think start running Ignis on your Black Knight if you really don't care about score. That's it.
Yeah, but I guess, yeah. If you're using him for PvP, though, stick with Black Luna. It might, like, deal like a little bit less damage in the long run, but
only if I think Black Luna will only ever be better than Ignis in like PvP. I mean, not PvP, PvE. If it's like, you know, the typical Fire Emblem Heroes meme, thick as fuck armor knight generic dude with like 100 HP and 50 defense.
Yeah.
Dog, you better not.
Oof. And then, how about this? You said earlier that Draconic Aura is pretty garbage.
Yeah, I think Draconic Aura is dead
Wow.
for the most part.
You mind explaining why it's garbage?
Yeah, because
I mean, I know.
mostly because unit attack nowadays, I think about the far-fetched heroes, barring Fjorm being ass, I think Draconic Aura outlived its usefulness because there's just, with raised BST, power creep, good ass skills among other things. Unit attack is really just so dumb that take Raven for example, with just double life and death on his Basilicos and all that, with a neutral attack IV, he has 60 attack, and then you look at Draconic Aura and like, whoa, 18 damage, but then you look at it and you see his 60 attack again, and if your Raven isn't doubling, you're probably doing something wrong. If 60 minus defense times 2, what below like 36 defense is going to be living that anyway? Because it's what 60 minus 30, that's like 24 times 2 at minimum for it to compete with Draconic Aura. So 48 total damage. Yeah, I think at this juncture Luna just becomes a better Draconic Aura. Like there's a few situations with like weapon triangle disadvantage and stuff where Draconic can be better, but I think just for general usage, I think Luna at this point has just power cut Draconic Aura.
Yeah, and even then, when you're looking at, like you said, general usage, if you're using Draconic Aura because your unit has high attack, wouldn't Glimmer just be better? Because your unit has a high attack, so they're dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And then there's also the thing of Draconic Aura versus Bonfire and Iceberg. The thing is, they like maybe during the starting meta, when because I feel like attack was the first skill to kind of start getting power crept.
Yeah.
That's like the whole one-hit KO meta back in the day.
Yeah, that was my favorite meta.
Ugh. But now it's like, and we've been talking about this for a while, how the meta would change to more defense and stuff. And now I feel like stats are getting power crept sort of equally. And when stats are getting power crept equally, the thing is Bonfire and Iceberg scale by a higher percentage than Draconic Aura.
Yeah, that's
so
really
assuming
good.
that everything gets power crept equally, eventually Bonfire and Iceberg are just going to be way better than Draconic Aura because their scaling is higher, but the power creep is equal.
Yeah, because like it's really, even when it comes to like Dragon Fang versus Ignis and Glacies, Dragon Fang has a really good modifier considering all units kind of have around the same attack as defense at level 40 to have Dragon Fang match it, but still it struggles to keep up because the modifier is lower by 30%. Just like the modifier is just a sad thing.
Dragon Fang's the 4 cooldown special, right?
Yeah, it's 4 turn Draconic Aura. It's just 50%.
Yeah. The same argument for Dragon Fang can be made that I just made about Draconic Aura versus Glimmer. Why not use Astra? I mean, Astra is 150% of the damage you dealt. That's a lot of damage.
Well, like, this is mostly a thing you'll know if you, like, keep around my channel. You know, with, like, Tail 2 shit, Blade Tomes add to attack, and that just scales beautifully when you can do, like, nothing. It's just, oh man, I'm doing 4 times 2. Oh man, RKO out of nowhere, 35 damage. So that's about it. But otherwise, if you got like insane FE attack or something stupid, like just go Astra if you really hate Ignis, I guess.
Yeah, but even then, it is important to do math. Like, nobody likes doing math when they're trying to play a game that's meant to be a time waster. But if you really want to get the most bang out of your buck and ensure that you have the most efficient thing, do some math. Because it's really easy once you figure out how the math works. Like, it's what we always do when we're calculating what we want, is you see the set damage for something like a bonfire or an iceberg, and then you kind of scale that compared to how much damage theoretically a Luna or Moonbow would do in order to equal the damage that a bonfire. And then so say for example, your bonfire deals 20 damage, and then you want to see how much damage, like at what defense value an enemy needs to have in order for you to deal the same amount of damage with Luna. And then you decide, am I fighting enemies that have more than this defense or less than this defense? If it's less than that defense, then you go bonfire. If it's more than that defense, you go Luna.
Yeah, because, like, just for example, in my opinion, for Wodao sets, Moonbow is probably one of the most optimized specials for the weapon itself, which kind of does go and show you, because they did something similar with Athena and Sonya. They have Moonbow and Wodao weapons at base. Nephany has Wrath at base. And so I got this calculator up here, so you see this defense value right here is 35. You multiply that by 0.7, which is 70% of the defense the unit will have after Moonbow. It's 24.5, and Heroes is gay, but I figured out that 0.5 values are consistently rounded down. So that's 11 damage from Moonbow. So for Wodao, that goes to 21. And so it just increases as the defense value goes higher. So with like Wodao in particular, you've really got to weigh another special against Moonbow.
Yeah. And that goes back to the thing of, Wodao and Slaying Edge pretty much doing the same thing. Would you say, then, in that case, that Wodao Moonbow consistently is better than Slaying Edge Luna?
I really like Wodao Moonbow. That's like one of, like, even fucking trash-ass Navarre has proved himself to be useful when I do need to use him for whatever reason. And it's just really strong. It picks up random KOs that you wouldn't think would be possible, and it scales so well. Like, honestly, I think Wodao Moonbow is probably one of the strongest quick special proc sequences in the game. So really, unless your defense is like super bonkers, I would go for Wodao Moonbow as a preferred offense if I had to like choose something like that for every single unit.
And I mean that does show in practice too. I mean, I do run Wodao Axe Moonbow on my Alphons, because we calculated 35 defense. That's the sweet spot for 21 damage on a Moonbow with the Wodao Axe, and then you compare that to, I think he has like 40 defense when he has Fortify. Yeah, and so that with Bonfire, that's 20 damage. So you're, like I said before, you want to decide, is he going to be fighting enemies that have 35 defense or more? Or is he going to be fighting enemies consistently that have 34 defense or below? If it's 34 defense or below, then you want to run Bonfire because that's always going to be 20 damage. If you're going above, then you want to go Moonbow because the damage will scale to be higher than Bonfire. And I decided, hey, enemies are getting tankier and tankier. He already has a lot of attacks, so he's probably going to be killing an enemy that has lower defense anyway. So yeah, 35 defense seems like a reasonable sweet spot to work with. So yeah, it's just that math. You got to do math, yo.
Yeah, math is fun, but it's also painful. So really, just do math if you like really love a unit. Because like I like the Mage Erica, but I don't love her with all my heart. So I just slapped Draconic Aura on her because I didn't care.
I put Draconic Aura on my Churchy because I wanted to flex on my video. I thought I was so smart when I made that.
And then I had to come tell you that you wasted Gold Flyer's potential.
I don't use goads anyway.
Oh man, I really like goads for Flyer Emblem. But that's not the point of this video.
So yep, the point of this video is special. We can argue in a different video.
Yeah, buffs for Emblem teams, sure.
So yeah, is there anything else that you want to mention?
Build yourself a Wrath Wardout Ira. You will not be dissatisfied with the results.
Yeah, people are a lot of I see a lot of the time that people are scared to remove the legendary from a unit because they think that because the unit has the legendary is the best possible option for the unit.
Yeah, man. Let me just keep turfing on Seliph.
What's that?
Let me just keep turfing on Seliph real quick. Binding Blade Roy, let's go.
Yeah, it's the legendary weapon on a unit isn't always the best weapon, and Wodow, I think, is an example for the reasons that we've already talked about. How about how about we talk about healer specials?
Ooh,
you
man.
Like healer specials?
Okay, like real shit. If they introduce like a healer special that's like light breath, that on a defensive team, if you don't consistently keep your HP up for a panic ploy, ooh, man.
I think healer specials are really, they really don't matter right now because.
What if Nana has an offensive healer special? Ooh.
Okay, but if the day that healers get offensive hero special, offensive specials is the day that I might actually consider using a healer, because I've already said this, healers have some of the most OP tools in the game. It's just that they are so bad that it balances out.
Yeah, it's like
healers' weapons are freaking busted, dude. Absorb is soul, except every time you hit. That's a 3 cooldown special every time you hit.
Yeah, man. Like healers, I think you probably said it best. Healers have the most broken tools in the game, but their shitty stats and lack of inheritance make it all balanced.
Yeah. So yeah, they because right now healer specials don't really matter. Like they have what? Whoa, +4 attack to all your units.
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh man,
that's not gonna matter when I
plus 50% on your heal. Whoa.
Wow, I'm already healing their entire health. Wow, I already have hone on that unit, so it doesn't matter. It's like I don't see it. And then plus there's like the I think honestly the worst healer special is the one where it's you heal 10 health to all the other units as well, because then that takes your units out of desperation range.
You know healer specials suck ass when the most frequently used special on a healer is a special that every other unit can get.
What, Miracle?
Yeah.
Reasonable. So yeah, just watch out if they ever do add a damaging healer special. That's like the first step to the healer meta.
Dude, what if they just made another update where healers get whatever special they want? Glaciers Reese!
Ooh, spicy. I'd be running that spicy Luna Elise. You already know. And then, yeah, hopefully one day.
Absorb.
Hopefully one day, healers will be able to learn life and death.
Oh.
Because right now, the best skills on healers are stat +3 skills. That's it. That's garbage.
Sadness.
What's that?
I said sadness.
So yeah, anything else?
No, my laptop's about to die, so we do gotta wrap this up.
Alright, well, there you go. So, moral of the story, do math. Iris special is OP, and Slaying Edge and Wodow are pretty much the same thing, doing different stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to check out CJ's channel.
I don't upload anything.
Make sure to watch him beat Navarre with 1 million different teams.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you liked it. Bye.
Bye.